The most common mistake made by bar applicants is to study too much and practice too little. You must know a lot of legal details to pass the bar examination, but please realize that the bar examination is at least as much a test of your knowledge on the test itself as it is a test of your knowledge of the law. The best way to learn the law is by doing practice questions. You should be doing about 50 practice multi-state questions per day on average, although I recommend that students do more questions per day during the first half of their bar study period. Keep track of your mistakes. If you're getting questions wrong from a specific issue, go back and review that issue. If you know the area of law, you got the question wrong because somehow you misread it. Be patient and persevere. Remember that the MBE is not designed to test your knowledge of the law. It's designed to test your willingness to surrender your mental independence and think about the law in the way our profession wants you to. I say, don't surrender your identity to anybody, but study the MBE questions and learn how they work. You'll see that there are lots of words and phrases that are a shorthand way of describing various rules or common fact patterns. These are useful to know for essay purposes too. Some applicants find it useful to make flashcards from MBE questions they got wrong. This is a good idea. The act of making the card reinforces the information, and studying flashcards is a good way to get a little bit of constructive work done during odd moments when you would like to study but don't really have enough time to for a real session. If you're enrolled in a bar review course, study the outlines before going to the lectures. Try to take well-organized notes. Avoid rewriting your notes if you can. Don't go back and look at the outlines unless you have a specific question you want to find an answer to, or unless you know there is a specific issue you need to study in order to have even a glib familiarity with the ideas being discussed. Once you have finished going to the lectures for an individual subject, you are ready to work on the essays. You might review the approach and try your hand at outlining the first couple of questions, leaving the other questions for the next day or two. Remedies is the most important subject on any bar examination. Remedies is the heart of torts, contracts, and property, and it's often an aspect of questions from other subjects. Torts, contracts, and real property combined are half of the multi-state questions. The critical importance of these three subjects becomes even more evident when you consider this. Remedies is common to all three and central to a clear understanding of each one. Civil procedure is the most important non-MBE subject. Civil procedure almost has been made part of the MBE on more than one occasion. This makes sense. Cases are won and lost every day based on procedural strategy and error. It also makes sense that the examiners easily could put a Civ Pro issue into any question involving civil litigants, and frequently they do. Civil procedure is the second most frequently used subject in crossover questions behind remedies. The bottom line is torts, contracts, and property are worth 50% of the points on the typical bar exam. Evidence, crim law and procedure, and con law are worth roughly 30%, and the other subjects are worth roughly 20%. Allocate your preparation time accordingly. Psychologists who work in education or sports psychology find it useful to look at an individual and objectively measure their abilities and feelings in an effort to improve performance. I'm satisfied that bar applicants have much to learn from the psychologists, and you don't have to spend hours talking with a well-paid professional about how you feel about your parents to get significant benefits. It's common knowledge that there is a connection between our minds and our bodies. Over the years, I have known many applicants who thought they failed the bar exam because they had not worked hard enough. Somehow, they figure that 75 consecutive 16-hour workdays is just the right way to prepare for the bar exam. Often, I advise my students to work less hard, but to do things to get a lot more out of the time that they put in. If you are able to strike a decent balance in your life from the following aspects, you'll be doing yourself a tremendous favor. The personal. Every aspect of your life needs to be in balance during your preparation for the bar. and especially during the last few weeks leading up to the exam. You are well advised to make time for family and social events that are important to you. Of course, it also is true that now you have a perfect excuse for skipping any family or social event that your heart desires to avoid. By all means, do so. Often, it is useful to include family and friends as you prepare to prepare. Personally, I tend to shy away from asking family and friends for favors. When I was preparing for the California bar exam back in 1984, I did take the time to apologize in advance to everybody that I knew for future acts of rudeness during my exam preparation time, and to ask them for their patience and their prayers. Pleasantly, I got a glimpse at the better side of human nature. Even a few folks who weren't very fond of me were quite kind and thoughtful. The physical. Getting ready to take the bar exam is not like preparing for a marathon. It is a marathon. The most basic step towards getting a sensible grip on your approach to the exam is to have a specific plan to maintain and improve your health and stamina. I think all bar applicants should plan on being more physically fit on the first day of the examination than they are on the first day of their studies. How much time should you spend studying? Everybody is different, but there is an upper limit. If you are putting in 10 or 11 hours a day, 6 days a week, including bar review lectures, probably you are ruining your body and your mind, not to mention wrecking any friendships and family relationships that survived your legal education. 40 hours a week usually is enough time. Be sensible. If you start to fade after 90 minutes, you're making a big mistake if you don't take a break at 90 minutes and recharge yourself. Don't drink a lot of coffee an hour before bedtime if it keeps you awake at night. Many unsuccessful applicants go without sleep the night before the exam. Your body can be your friend or your adversary. Getting ready for the bar examination and taking the test are tremendous physical challenges. Many of my students start to get more exercise by walking the family dog or riding a bike around the neighborhood. Be as patient and gentle with yourself as you can during this period of preparation. I think you should take care of your health, exercise, and be in better shape for the bar than you are in today. But I am not telling you to become monastic and to avoid all of your favorite sensual pleasures. Be sensible. Apply yourself with vigor and discipline, but try to be reasonably happy and healthy under the circumstances. Law knowledge. You need to know hundreds or thousands of intricate details to pass the bar. Some of them can be learned by studying books and outlines. But my theory is the best way to sharpen your law knowledge is by doing a lot of intense practice. Review the black letter law from the areas that you have demonstrated a knowledge deficit. Don't waste a lot of time reviewing material you already know. Test taking skills. If you've gotten a low score on an essay in which your substantive knowledge was excellent, you have problems with the test, not the law. My Master Essay Method program can sharpen your test-taking skills. If the other aspects of your life are in reasonable balance, you'll be better equipped to improve your skills and perform at your best when it matters the most. The bar examination is a ludicrous way to decide who gets to practice law and who doesn't. But it is the way that we are stuck with, at least for now, and it is manageable and, within its own narrow framework, reasonable and fair. Good luck on the bar exam. For CalBarExam.com, I'm Scott Pearce. Thanks for your attention.